Boa noite, Brasil. Estamos entrando ao vivo com mais uma edição do jornal Global News. E hoje a matéria é sobre um país europeu menor que o estado do Rio de Janeiro e que tem o sexto maior PIB per capita do ano de 2022.
Terra dos relógios, queijos e chocolates, a Suíça é um dos principais focos de interesse não só para o turista, como também para os detentores das maiores fortunas e profissionais do negócio internacional.
E agora seguimos apresentando um estudo de caso com 2 cidadãos residentes na Suíça.
A nossa repórter passou alguns dias no país levantando dados e agora eles estão aqui ao vivo com a gente. Boa noite, Gabriela.
Boa noite, Brasil. Nós estamos aqui com um casal residente na Suíça, a Rita e o Richard Brusa. A Rita, ela trabalha no setor da hotelaria, no setor da hospitalidade, e o Richard trabalha com seguros, que é uma questão um tanto quanto séria para a Suíça, já que eles são obrigatórios e impostos pelo Estado, o que acaba formando parte do custo de vida elevado da Suíça. E agora seguimos com a entrevista. Rita, tell us, how was your impression of Brazil after you moved here and lived here a few times? Tell us a little bit about your experience in the country.
When I was 20 years old, 40 years ago, I was employed as a nanny by a Swiss family in Brasilia for 1 year. The big country, the vastness, the nature, it was very fascinating for me. I go to know the Brazilians as open and happy people. But I also saw behind the scene. With money and connection, many things was possible that were illegal. The great social injustice was a shock for me. I was young and I do not know this I have not seen this in Switzerland. It was a very shock for me. I saw the very rich people and the very poor people. And this influenced me to this day. It was a special point in my heart and in my head. And my life turned. A thing in my life turned on for this. And then we were in Brazil again in 2011 for 1 month. The injustice was still same or even worse for me. A young Brazilian man told to us that the slavery is not finished in Brazil. All the domestic workers, he said this, all the domestic workers, they live in a small room behind the house and work 7 days at week for almost not pay. That's still slavery.
What are the most evident cultural differences between Brazilian and Swiss people?
Brazilians are open-hearted, spontaneous, and full of life. So the Swiss people are more reserved, very correct, and very hardworking. The whole year, every day, work. Yeah, this is a very big difference.
During the years you've lived here, have you used public transportation? What differences between Brazil and Switzerland have you been most striking to you in terms of infrastructure?
When I was young, during my first day, I always took the bus from the city, from Brasilia city center to home or to the fazenda, but also across to the country, to Paraguay, to Argentina. But I never wore a watch or jewelry. I was very careful with my luggage. But it was not a problem for me. It was funny and a good time. the different Brazil, if you have a longer distance, you can fly, and you have buses. And in Switzerland we have railways and buses. The security is the big difference for me.
And what's the government strategy to maintain domestic tourism in the country?
Okay, Switzerland is a very attractive country in terms of scenic beauty, security, and infrastructure. The Swiss government supports the tourism industry to make this attractiveness visible through good publicity, through promotions and discounts, and through attractive offers.
How's the cost of living for a Swiss citizen? And what are the compulsory insurances?
Also, Switzerland is a very expensive country. When it comes to the cost of living, housing is one of the largest budget items. In Switzerland, one normally calculates around a third of the salary for renting an apartment. Compulsory insurances are state and professional pensions, as well as health insurance. The costs are usually around 1/5 of the salary. Also, it's very expensive.
Regarding economic and political stability, is that true that Swiss citizens trust the government? What reason do you point for this?
Okay, Switzerland is indeed a very stable country. And in general, Swiss citizens have a high level of trust in their government. The main reasons for this are direct democracy. That will be the citizen has the last word in important political decisions, and the very deep corruption. We have a very deep corruption in Switzerland. In the international, yes,
Really?
yes. In the international context, Switzerland is invited by many other countries for these high qualities.
É muito interessante para nós brasileiros ouvir a opinião de um verdadeiro cidadão suíço sobre o seu próprio país.
Muito bem, após essa entrevista, chegamos ao final da nossa programação. Agradecemos a sua audiência e até breve, com mais informações e experiências no jornal Global News. Boa noite.
Boa noite.